Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we're continuing our ongoing coverage of various wars and conflicts around the world. Specifically today, we're starting off in the Ukraine, and we're going to migrate very quickly down south to Syria, because I think Syria right now needs to be explained and talked about in terms of what is happening. Obviously, the Russian Donbass offensive continues and is going very well for the Russians. Pokrovsk and areas southwest of Pokrovsk are continuing to be enveloped by Russian forces. The Kurakova pocket has been and is still collapsing as we continue to coverage of this area of the conflict. Now, before I move down south to Syria, I must apologize. I have been out for a few days, very much under the weather with a nasty little ailment, to which it's very difficult to explain just what it was, various antibiotics, but I'm back now and should have more coverage of what's happening in these ongoing conflicts. But now let's shoot down very quickly to the Syrian war map. Now, if you go over and you look at the various headlines from various news agencies that are reporting what is happening in Syria, opposition forces within 10 kilometers of the Syrian capital, reports say. Over 1,500 Syrian army personnel enter Iraq, including officers. Syrian rebels encircle Damascus in major threat to Assad regime. And then finally, Damascus on the brink of collapse. Is that possible? Even with Russian air support, even with the introduction of Iranian forces, Iraqi Popular Mobilization Forces, is the Assad regime going to collapse? Well, we don't know. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. And a number of reasons why this is possible. So first, who and or what has launched this operation deep into Syria? Well, it's old al-Nusra, essentially ISIS, an offspring of ISIS, the Islamic State, IS. That's what it is. Its ideology is very much the same. It's more focused on the conquest of the Levant or Syria, but its Islamist ideology is the same. Many of the commanders that command al-Nusra Front are Saudis. There are many Saudis involved in this operation, both on the battlefield and obviously handing out large sums of money as well. That is happening. Now, this version of al-Nusra that is launching this offensive, we have had reports that some of these al-Nusra units, company-sized, even battalion-sized elements, are as well equipped as U.S. infantry, and more so. There are entire units, at least we have seen entire companies of al-Nusra now equipped with thermal imaging devices. Every single man in that company equipped with thermal imaging sights, optics. I mean, as you know, thermals are fantastic on the battlefield, both at night and even in the day. They've also have access to precision-guided weapon systems, most likely from the Turks. And who is Turkey a part of? Yep, you guessed it, NATO. So that technology is there. The same technology that we observed during the Azeri-Armenian War, Azerbaijan versus Armenia. The same footprint is there. And that's why they're seeing the kind of success that they're seeing right now. These al-Nusra forces have been trained, most likely by elements of the Central Intelligence Agency, Turkish Special Forces, quite possibly even U.S. Special Forces. This is Joe Biden's gift to Trump. We are going to turn Syria into an Islamist terror state that you will now have to deal with. The Israelis. Have the Israelis assisted al-Nusra in its ongoing efforts to turn Syria into an Islamist terror state? Absolutely it has. Is it going to eventually bite Israel in the ass? Probably so. Probably so. Israel sees Iran more as a threat than it does an Islamist terror state, Sunni terror state, on its border. But if this happens, if al-Nusra occupies Damascus, you are going to see a genocide that will probably be on par with what happened in Rwanda. This time they won't be yelling "cut down the tall trees." They'll be yelling "Durka, Durka, Durka." Okay. The Alawites, 1 million Christians in Syria. The Druze. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be hell on earth. Syria is going to turn into hell on earth. And then, as always, these caliphates tend to break apart, and then they turn on each other. So you are going to have a multifaceted conflict where you will see different iterations of Sunni Islamists fighting each other. They will be hunting down Shia. They will be hunting down Alawite. They will be hunting down Christians. It is going to be hell on earth if it happens. Now, the only thing that could possibly prevent this from happening would be a rapid deployment of Iranian troops, Iraqi Popular Mobilization Forces, Hezbollah possibly, but that has been decapitated and destroyed by the Israelis. So it's tough to say what's going to happen. We know that the Assad family has fled to Moscow. We're trying to ascertain where Maher Assad is, if he, in fact, is still on the ground. That is an important figure. We understand that Bashar al-Assad is still in Syria, in Damascus. There are reports that there is a contingency plan in which possibly the Alawites would declare essentially a mountain kingdom along the coast. Look, if al-Nusra is able to take Damascus, and we're not there yet, but if they are going to wage unrelenting war on Latakia and Tartus. They're just going to do it. Again, it is going to be a bloodbath like the world has not seen in a long time. And again, you have to ask the question, how did we get here? Those al-Nusra units, those Islamist units that are operating right now in Syria are very well equipped. They have been massively funded and trained by only two sources: the Saudis in the United States and Turkey. That's how this started. And now they're going to have to reap what they sow. If, in fact, they're able, al-Nusra, these Sunni Islamists, are able to take control of Damascus, again, going to be a bloodbath. It is going to be insane. It sounds like the Syrian army is fortifying around Damascus. We'll have to see what is happening or what eventually happens. It is a chaotic, fast-moving situation, but we will continue to cover and watch what is happening on the ground. As always, thank you for joining us. More to come very soon. Have a good day.